Christina Onnested. Republican House Speaker Kevin McCarthy of California Tuesday announced impeachment inquiry into President Joe Biden. Christopher Martinez reports.
Congress is back from its August recess, and for House Republicans, they're back with a vengeance.
Today, I am directing our House committee to open a formal impeachment inquiry into President Joe Biden.
Republican Kevin McCarthy of California is the House Speaker. He recited a list of allegations that, among other things, President Joe Biden lied about his family's foreign business dealings, directed payments to family members, and coordinated with his son Hunter Biden's business partners regarding a Ukrainian energy company. Representative Matt Gaetz, a Republican from Florida, called McCarthy's impeachment inquiry announcement baby steps that came after pressure from conservatives. Gaetz is ready for a motion to kick McCarthy out of the speakership. I'm Christopher Martinez.
North Korea's leader Kim Jong-un vowed full and unconditional support for Russia's President Vladimir Putin and his war in Ukraine as the two leaders, isolated by the West, held a summit in Moscow. Kim's comments were translated by Al Jazeera.
Russia is currently undertaking a righteous endeavor to protect its sovereign rights and security interests against hegemonic forces. We have consistently expressed our full, unconditional support for all measures taken by the Russian government. Taking this opportunity, we affirm that we will always stand with Russia in the anti-imperialist, self-reliant front.
The U.S. warns the meeting could lead to a deal to supply ammunition for Moscow's war in Ukraine. President Vladimir Putin called the indictments of Donald Trump political persecution. He made the remarks during an economic forum ahead of his meeting with Kim. A lawsuit filed Tuesday in Minnesota seeks to bar former President Donald Trump from the state's 2024 ballot. It's a second state to face such a lawsuit. Free Speech for People cited the 14th Amendment section on engaging in an insurrection, arguing it disqualifies Trump. The third section of the 14th Amendment says no one should hold office if they've engaged in insurrection or rebellion against the U.S. or given aid or comfort to enemies. The watchdog group CREW, Citizens for Responsibility and Ethics in Washington, filed a similar lawsuit earlier this month in Colorado. A local health official says the death toll in Libya has topped 5,100 and is expected to rise as thousands more are missing in the eastern city of Derna, where floods from Hurricane Daniel caused massive devastation over the weekend. Margaret Harris is a spokesperson for the World Health Organization.
Torrential rain to an area affecting at least 1.5 to 1.8 million people. Epic proportions. There's not been a storm like this in the region, or certainly in living memory. So it's a great shock.
She also says hospitals have been wiped out. Others are partially operating. Authorities are struggling to get aid to the coastal city after the waters washed away most road access. The UN Migration Agency says more than 30,000 people have been left homeless by the destruction. Hurricane Daniel has now hit Greece, causing floods there. Leaders of two small Pacific island nations that face land loss from sea level rise are appealing to the International Tribunal Law of the Sea in Germany to rule nations are obliged to meet climate emission reduction agreements. The tribunal's considering whether carbon that's absorbed by the ocean can be considered pollution and what obligations nations have to protect the ocean environment. Arnold Kiel-Lumen is Attorney General of Vanuatu.
The ocean is our mother, the source of life, yet it is being destroyed by the failure of major greenhouse gas emitters.
A decision would not be legally binding. Experts say low-lying island nations like Tuvalu and Vanuatu are at risk of being submerged by water by the end of the century due to climate change. More than 400 marches, rallies, and protests are planned worldwide this weekend, coordinated by the global fight to end fossil fuels ahead of the Climate Ambition Summit at the United Nations in New York next week. According to organizers, more than 600 civil society groups and some 10,000 people across the country are expected to attend the march in front of the UN in New York City alone. 5 former Memphis police officers were charged with federal civil rights violations in the beating death of Tyree Nichols as they continue to fight second-degree murder charges in state courts arising from the killing. The new charges come 9 months after the violent beating of Nichols during a traffic stop near Nichols' home in Memphis. He died at a hospital 3 days later. U.S. health officials approved the latest COVID-19 vaccine and advised most Americans to get updated with the new booster Tuesday. Advisors Doctors at the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention endorsed the new shots for everyone 6 months and older. The indigenous-led organization NDN Collective and the human rights group Amnesty International rallied in Washington, D.C. outside the White House Tuesday, calling for the release of Native American political prisoner Leonard Peltier. They rallied on his birthday. I'm Christina Onnested, reporting for Pacifica Radio.